Hello everyone, this is Ariana back again with my pet depression, and today we're going to start with my pet number, which happens to be a 5. This week has been a little more stressful than I anticipated it to be, and today is a better day, but overall it's been a 5. So sad, not sure why, just kind of there, and I had to spend a lot of my day kind of tending to that. So that's my pet number. Today's story time is going to be about what I call intrusive thoughts. I have mentioned it, but I don't think I ever explained what I think it is. My definition is that when I have bad thoughts about myself, when I say mean things to myself, I call those intrusive thoughts. Of course, you can also lump in any thoughts about hurting yourself or anything like that as well. But those are what I call intrusive thoughts. So some of those can be just generalizations, kind of like you're stupid. It could be worse, like give up, just give up. There's just no point. Those are pretty bad. Or maybe you aren't ready to do anything. You're not prepared to do anything. You can't do this. You can't do it this way. You can't do it right. It's just beating down of yourself, basically. And that was probably one of my worst problems that I would do, is just lay into myself every day and convince myself that I was dumb, or that I couldn't do anything right, or nobody was going to love me because I couldn't do something right. And it just became a battle with myself. So yes, I had some bad memories and some things come up that were stressful that would add to it, but most of my problems were just beating myself up. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And again, it's going to be different for everybody. So what I say to myself may not be what you say to yourself. But any negative self-talk or thought is something that needs to be at least noticed. You may do it all the time and not think about it. So thinking about it, at least noticing that it's there, is the first step to being able to kind of counter it. And trust me, it took me basically the entire 5 years to get to the point where I can shut down those thoughts much more frequently now than I did before. Although I do still have them, again, with depression, like just about anything else. It's not cured, but you can make the symptoms better. You can make the things better. And that is a lot of work, but it's worth it. Trust me, it is worth it. Because the rewards of that are just feeling better overall during your day, because you're not feeling bad because you are convincing yourself that you aren't worthy to be here, or that nobody believes in you, or you don't deserve love. And those things are just tough to fight against because it's your own brain. So you're convincing yourself all the time that these things are true, whether you have an actual thought that you think about, or it's just this general sense of dread or anxiety, or just, I called it a lead blanket a lot of the time, because I just felt like I was underneath something heavy, and I moved around, but it was so difficult. And a lot of the things were just things that were in my head. So, and those, as far as I can tell, those are probably some of the worst things to deal with, is fighting your own brain, which is basically what depression is anyway. You are fighting your own self because your brain is telling you things and convincing you of things that aren't true. And that is really tough. So it is a pretty normal thing, even if you aren't depressed, to have bad self-talk or say mean things to yourself or criticizing something you've done way worse than anybody who saw it would. And that is tough. And it is a battle, but you can do it. And I would say probably one of the best things to do would be to try and recognize when you're having these thoughts and then kind of stop them. I don't know, I say stop out loud sometimes. Sometimes I just go, no, that's not right. But whatever it is, I recognize I'm having it. I try and stop myself from continuing the downward spiral of the thought. And then I start logicking. Like, that's not probably a right word, but I try to think logically about what I'm trying to tell myself. And sometimes for me, that works. Well, that's not true. You know you can do this. You know you can do this right. You know you have done this stuff. And just kind of work through that by finding examples of things that I know I have done. And I have done properly or well or even just adequately. Because again, being perfect is impossible. And doing things to get them done is sometimes the biggest, most fulfilling thing you can do. Just getting the dishwasher loaded or unloaded, or going to a doctor's appointment, or making an appointment for somebody. That's tough for me because I don't like to talk on the phone, but that's kind of a thing. So for me, that's a big step. For me, being able to recognize that I have done something good, even if I'm not having the bad self-talk, and I recognize that I've done something that makes me feel proud, and acknowledging that, just saying out loud or in my head, you did that. You should be proud of yourself. You accomplished that. Even if it doesn't seem like it's a great big accomplishment, if you recognize even the small things that you're doing right, it can help you feel better. Just recognizing it. You don't have to talk to somebody else about it. But if you recognize that you've done something, and you've done it for yourself or others, and that you accomplished it, that is a huge deal. That is a huge deal that you recognize that you have accomplished something. Now, for myself, I had a real breakthrough when I realized that if I try to make a list of goals for a day, the day ahead, so I would make goals for tomorrow that said, I like to write, so writing on any project, working on the videos for this, or the drawing that I'm doing for these videos, taking my children to appointments, taking myself to an appointment. Even though that doesn't seem like a goal that everybody should have, me getting to up and doing something is accomplishing something. Whether I finish that task or not, it is a big deal. And sometimes that's what you need to recognize that I got up and did this today. Even if that's the only thing you do. But I like making a list of about 5 things. And then when it gets towards the end of the day, I go and look at it. And then I mark them off and say, oh, I've done these things today. That's great. Wow, I can't believe I did so much today. Because while I'm doing it, I don't always think about it. But when I sit down and see it written, it feels like I'm recognizing I did something, and it has been such a game changer for me. I hadn't even thought about making a channel when I started making these lists for myself, these goals. And the more I recognized that I was getting things done, the better I felt about myself, and the more I tried to do. Now, some days, again, like this week, I barely did anything. But I recognized that I was depressed and I was anxious. And sometimes I would write that on my goal pages, that's what the problem was today. I was depressed. Maybe not details, but just that I recognize that I'm having a problem right now. And so I didn't accomplish everything. But trust me, it's a good thing for you. So I hope that helped. And I hope that you guys take care of each other and take care of yourselves. And always remember to take care of your pet.